the SAVE Act, and it's sponsored by Arkansas Republican French Hill. He joins us now to explain why he feels this is so important. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. Give us the thoughts behind this and what you hope to accomplish with it.
You bet, Bob. Thanks for having me. I think we were caught in this pandemic at low tide with no bathing suit on. I think it exposed terribly our dependence on foreign countries and foreign manufacturers for key pharmaceutical elements that go in our drugs, particularly our generic drugs, and our medical supplies. So the SAVE Act would amend the Defense Production Act, which you've seen President Trump use during this pandemic. It would permanently amend that act to put the medical supply chain and the pharmaceutical supply chain formally as a part of the Defense Production Act and plan accordingly to diversify that supply chain.
Mr. Hill, what has been of greatest concern to you? I mean, what lessons have we learned from this?
I think diversification. We know about the stockpile. Was the stockpile adequate? Did the Congress really and the executive branch have a comprehensive pandemic preparation that could be as big as the coronavirus has hit the U.S.? And a key element there is what? Manufacturing capacity for vaccines, for therapeutic treatments, and for those key medical supplies. So I feel like we were not prepared in that regard and that we should have a better plan going forward. And I believe the SAVE Act could be part of that plan.
Congressman, a lot of the reasons that companies manufacture items, pharmaceuticals and otherwise, is that it's cheaper in China. So I'm sure that given the choice to go somewhere else, they would consider the United States, but it may be expensive. So how do you keep them from ending up in somewhere like Vietnam or Thailand?
It's a good question, Bob. I think China has been very, very predatory in their effort to identify key supply chain elements, particularly in pharmaceuticals, and take over that supply chain and undercut that price and dominate the supply. All of our ibuprofen, for example, comes from China. So I believe there is an ability to have a competitive market that's in Europe, that's in the United States, that's around the world. It's not at China per se, but it's creating that diversified force. And with a strategic plan, I think we can do that. And I think we can do it with the private sector. And I think we can do it with strategic purchases by the Defense Department or the Department of Human Services.
Do you think it's important to hold China accountable? And if so, how do you think we should go about doing that?
Yeah, it's such a good question, and it's a question being asked in capitals all around the world, from London to Washington. We're asking, how are we going to hold China accountable for the actions they've taken in the pandemic? But it just exercises, in my view, the fact that their reputation is in tatters. It's in tatters in defense policy and in foreign policy, in the One Belt, One Road, predatory lending policies in the developing world, and now in public health. I think you'll see them pay a price, a major economic price, by the private sector moving away from China as a supply chain. And I think you'll see the third world and the developing world reject China as an economic player and move to other sources of financing.
How do you get more manufacturers to come to the United States? Is there a role for tax cuts and that sort of thing, other incentives to get people here? Because just because you might get them away from China, I'm kind of repeating the same question, but it seems like a real challenge. How do you get people to come back to the United States? Because I think all of us who aren't the manufacturers would say, make them here, make them in America.
Right. Well, one of the first things we've done is make America a more competitive destination with President Trump's leadership to remove the double taxation on American company income earned abroad is an incentive to bring operations back to the U.S. There's less of a capital prejudice for American industry, encourages them to come back to the U.S. Secondly, the USMCA, the new U.S., Canada, and Mexico trade arrangement, is a powerful message that America is open for business and that North America is a great place to move one supply chain. So I think that tax policy and our trade policy both are ways to attract more business to the U.S. and to the North American area.
Congressman Hill, it's my understanding that you've been incredibly busy. The president appointing you to a council, too, for our overall economic vitality in America. Can you give us an update on that as well?
Well, the president is seeking views from senators and congressmen from all over the country. Just as Emerald reported his views, he's seeking from governors about what's the best way to get this economy back to full capacity. We have a call to tomorrow afternoon with White House officials to talk about that. Here in Arkansas, we're blessed, in my view, because Governor Hutchinson did not shut the whole economy down here. So as we open up, I think it'll be easier, and I think Arkansas is a good lesson for how the whole country could operate, being safe, following the CDC standards, but having more freedom and more opportunity for people to return to economic vitality.
I'm sure you've been around, I assume, in Washington as well as Arkansas, so you could compare the difference. There are people hesitant to go out in certain areas of the country. So what is it like in Arkansas right now?
Well, I just got back from visiting some suburban cities today in Benton, Arkansas, and other places, College Station. And I went by a nail salon that was busy with traffic. This was their first day open since the coronavirus hit. It was great to see customers in there. CDC standards were being adopted. Went by a shop that's open selling hand sanitizer and other items. So it was encouraging to be out today and see people following the CDC standards, but carrying on their economic lives.
Okay, Congressman French Hill, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time today.